I'd like to introduce Mercaptor. Mercaptor Discoveries. These are bench scientists who discovered something pretty incredible. So a press release went out last Friday. Mercaptor Discoveries partners with One Hit Away Foundation to combat the concussion crisis. This went to over 80 million potential readers across the world. Thank you very much. I would like to have the CEO of Mercaptor, Sara, come up here in your emotional self and enjoy this crowd and tell them about what you do. Thank you for joining us.
Mercaptor Discoveries was founded back in 2016. Our team has been together for a very long time because previously we founded Raptor Pharmaceuticals, which was later sold for $900 million. We founded Mercaptor to follow up on a discovery that we had. It was luck, actually. You know, when discoveries happen, they're genuinely because of luck. You know, you can't actually say, I'm going to find something. And we were lucky enough to come across this. A bit about captons. Now, the bottom line with brain injury is overexcitation of the neurons. When you have trauma to the brain, such as a hit or something progressive like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, your neurons fire really, really fast. And that's where the mitochondria come in. The mitochondria are required to give the energy for the firing of the neurons. They can only go so fast. So if your neuron fires and fires, the mitochondria get overwhelmed, they die, and the neuron pops. Neurons dying and popping release so many toxins in that local area. And these toxins spread to the neighboring neurons, causing them to overfire. And you get this, what's called a glutamate storm. You get this cascading ripple effect of damage. Well, every single company to date that has been looking for a cure for brain injury, they are looking for a way to stop excitation. Many different approaches they can come about this, but that is the bottom line of what they want to do, is stop this progression of overexciting the neurons. What we found with captons is that you can give them as an oral pill, and they will sit inside the brain, but only when they are in the presence of damage and all these toxins, they will actually convert into a molecule that will silence the brain. Now, why is this important? Why has, after 30 years of research and all this money, not brought a treatment to the market? Well, the problem is if you silence a neuron, you're silencing all your neurons in your brain. You can't silence the whole brain, because then your vital functions stop. You get high blood pressure, you know, your digestion, your kidney, all this. So it's very, very toxic. Well, when they do these clinical trials in people, one of the problems is getting it inside the brain. So you have to give grams of this medication. So they'll do tests and see how much can we give to a person so it's not toxic. And they find this little low level that people can take and they don't feel too sick. Okay, so they move to the next clinical trial and they look for efficacy and it doesn't work. And they say, well, we weren't able to dose enough. So it is this catch-22. You can't really get into the brain, you have to give so much. When you get stuff into the brain, then the whole brain stops functioning. Well, with a capton, it gets into the brain, is one thing. And it'll sit around, but it only becomes a silencing molecule in that local area of damage. And this is what's unprecedented. This is what no one has been able to do to date. Now, we created Mercaptor and funded it ourselves. We put $3.5 million into it, and we've gone a year and a half, and in that time, we have ran 2 preclinical studies, and we have confirmed our hypothesis. We find them in the brain, we don't see toxicity, and when we triggered the damage that underlines all types of neuronal diseases, from TBI to Parkinson's, all that, we saw the neuroprotectant being formed. This is what's unprecedented. So we have come up with a development path that will get us to FDA approval to go into humans. And what this involves is we're looking at multiple indications. Because we have this underlining thing of excitotoxicity, we are going to look at TBI, CTE, Parkinson's, ALS. This is something rarely done by pharmaceutical companies. Usually they'll see a result in preclinical studies, and then they'll go right into human studies. We believe it's very important at this stage, it's very cost effective too, to check out all these animal models. And one thing I do have to point out is you hear things don't translate from animals to humans. You know, you hear that a lot. Well, we're working on the biochemical level. We're working with chemistry. We're dealing with oxidation. We're dealing with free metals. This phenomenon is shared from bacteria to animals to humans. So what we see works in our preclinical animal trials will translate over into humans. And it's a shocking number, but only about 2% of drugs that go into clinical trials actually will make it to the market. And that's very sad. When you think of all the time, you think of all the money that's put into it. But the way we're going about it and the way we are approaching it using biochemistry, we have about a 99% chance of getting to the market when we go through our clinical trials and get into humans. And I thank you all for your time. Thanks for hearing our story.